Good morning, my friends, my family, fellow lovers of the light, the dearest beloved ones. My name is Nia Waterhouse. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about light and love and living a life of love in the light and in the spirit. Today I gotta talk about curses. Curses. I'm just curious. I wanna know, why do we spend so much time cursing ourselves? And people will really respond to me and say, I don't swear at myself. I don't swear at myself. I don't curse myself. What are you even talking about? We spend all this time cursing ourselves. And I just want to harken back very quickly to a verse that we all know that says that life and death are in the power of the tongue. So when we use words like should, have to, must, we're using these words that are loaded with judgments. And judgments are really what separate us in a profound way from the true love and acceptance that is ourself, that is the spirit, that is love, that is God within us and without. And so when we use words like I should have done this, what we're saying is that in this way, I am not good enough. In this way, I didn't do X, Y, and Z, so I don't deserve X, Y, and Z. Because I could have done da-da-da-da, but then I didn't, my worth is now diminished. We are dooming ourselves to our own judgment and execution via that judgment. We're allowing our judgments of ourselves to shape our lives and to shape our worth and our worthiness. We're allowing our judgments of ourselves that have been prescribed onto us by society to determine our worth and our worthiness. When we say we have to do something, we are stripping ourselves of our autonomy and infantilizing ourselves, stripping ourselves of our power, and relegating ourselves to powerless automatons. Powerless automaton? Automaton? Are you powerless? Or have you made a decision according to what you love, according to what is important to you, according to what matters to you? Have you made a choice that has led you to a place where you necessarily don't want to be, but you understand that it is important for you to be there? Acknowledge your choices and you acknowledge your power. You acknowledge your power and you assume your power. First curse, should. Should relegates us. Should strips us of our worthiness and our worth. Second curse, have to. Have to infantilizes us and strips us of our power and deludes both ourselves and others. Okay, so instead of using these curses to prescript our lives or to allow our lives to be diminished by others' judgments, our own judgments, or a strict sense of inopportunity to create the things that we want to create, what is some language that we can use instead? What is some language that we can use that will be uplifting, language that will be empowering, language that would be encouraging, language that would be life-giving, language that would be, ooh, that will just sprinkle the stank on it as we see ourselves? Okay, so instead of our have to, let us use I choose. Let us use I choose. How about that? I am choosing to go to work every day because I love living in a house, and I love being able to pay my bills, and I love being able to buy food and other things that I need. And I may not love this job, but I love that it provides me the things that I want. And because I love myself, I'm going to begin to look for things that more fill my spirit and my soul. The situation itself has not changed, but what has changed is the power and the recognition of the power that exists in the situation, right? To empower yourself requires not a change of situation, only an acknowledgement of the truth of your power. It only requires that you acknowledge the truth of your power. Instead of a should curse, we can use a I get to affirmation. I get to work out this morning. I get to wash these dishes that I'm so glad that I have. I get to exercise. I get to brush my teeth. I get to be who I want to be today. I get to live in a world where I can create opportunities for myself. Now, the thing about should versus I get to is that sometimes there are things that we genuinely want to do. There are things that we genuinely are excited about doing. But when we put the should on them, then we have a judgment around the doing or not doing, and then we end up rebelling against the things that we want within ourselves because we feel like now we're forced. Now we feel like we're not doing it out of a sense of joy and ecstasy and exploration. We're doing it out of a sense of obligation. And the only answer to obligation is no, right? The only freedom from obligation is rebellion. And so we end up rebelling against ourselves and the things that we want. The power of language allows us to speak the reality of our lives, to speak the power that we possess within inside ourselves, to speak of the possibility that exists within the created life around us, and to speak of the possibilities that exist within the world around us that God has for us and offers to us, right? We only should speak with our mouths, right? We should only knock and the door shall be open to us. But if we say, I have no hands, if we say, I can't find the door, if we say, I've been knocking and nothing's happening, then of course we will be doomed to live out the curses we have called in. But when we decide to speak the truth of who we are, right? I'm not sure where the door is, but I'm gonna knock, and I know that if I put this intention out, love is gonna meet me. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I know as I step forward, for every step I take, God takes 1,000 steps towards me. For every step I take, the universe takes 100 steps towards me. For every friend that I try to make, 100 friends try to come and be friends with me, right? For every video I put out, even though I've never done this before, right? I'm gonna get new interactions. I'm gonna build more community. I'm gonna get more subscribers. All of these things are going to meet me, right? Like, I don't know. And in a situation where you don't know, it's easy because we've been trained to curse ourselves, to doom ourselves, to say it's not going to work out, to say it's going to be less than beneficial, to say it's not going to be helpful, to say that we're not going to know, to say that we're going to be confused, right? To speak all of these negatives upon ourselves and upon our lives and upon our community and upon our friends, and we call it being realistic. Excuse me. What? How about this? How about all the energy that you use talking about what could go wrong, instead we practice talking about every single thing that could go right? How about we just play, right? How about we just allow ourselves to be whimsy. We just allow ourselves to be outside of what anybody says can, should, would, could be. Let's speak outside of all of that. Let's speak outside of all time and all space, and let us let ourselves imagine. Let us allow ourselves to dream. Let us allow ourselves to play. Let us allow ourselves to be and to speak what we want as we want it. Let us allow ourselves to say anything is possible, and because anything is possible, I allow myself to ask for the things that I want. I allow myself to say, you know what? I could get there and there be somebody who's really kind who helped me out. And I can get there and I can figure it out. Or I could get there and it turns out to be much better than I expected. Or I really love how people surprise me with kindness. I really love how the universe is surprising and delighting me. I really love how the feeling of magic and miracles are just popping up all around me. I really love how when I don't know, I get this wonderful sensation that I get to figure it out. A brand new question gets a brand new answer, and a brand new question and a brand new answer. And I love this give and take that I get to have with the universe and with spirit in discovering and exploring. The perspective that the language provides gets to either be generative or degrading. We can either degrade ourselves and degrade our lives and degrade our friends and degrade our people and degrade our world with our words, or we can create ourselves and we can create our people and we can create our world and we can create our communities as loving and as beautiful and as vibrant as we want them to be. We can choose to walk in the blessing of our faith and of our tongue and of this love relationship, or we can walk in the hell of these curses. Now, I, for one, have decided that I quite like the feeling of being in joy and in bliss. And so I relinquish the curses, and I relinquish the realism, and I relinquish the real world, and I relinquish all the things that tell me that what I am cannot be, that what I dream is not possible, that the love and wonder and splendor that I allow myself to be raptured into is just fantasy. I allow those things to fall free from me. And I invite you to join me in this journey of wonder, of surprise and delight, of imagining and playing and speaking power and brilliance into our lives, one sentence at a time. We start by just replacing I should with I get to, I have to with I'm glad. Just these subtle and small changes. Just watch how they shake up your life. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. If you like it, please like and subscribe. If you've tried these methods of getting rid of I should and I have to and I need to, let me know how this changed your life. Let me know what strategies that you were able to use to start speaking blessings instead of curses. Once again, my name is Nia Waterhouse, and I love